When I walk into a room, it's like a tornado of emotions, sounds, and colors. I can't filter them. I'm Jamie, diagnosed at 28.
It's not that I don't care about your feelings. I just perceive the world differently. I am Rachel, diagnosed at 35.
Autism Spectrum, a new perspective for adults. Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, isn't solely a topic of childhood. Historically, autism discussions have predominantly centered on children, leading many to mistakenly believe that it's primarily a childhood concern. However, the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention, or CDC, states that approximately 1 in 54 children in the US have been identified with ASD. These children grow up. Their numbers imply that millions of adults are grappling with this condition, many of whom may not have received a diagnosis until later in life. With rising awareness, adults are now starting to be diagnosed with ASD in greater numbers than before. A study from the Archives of General Psychiatry suggests that a surprising 2.7% of adults may fall on the autism spectrum. The emphasis on childhood ASD in previous decades means that a large segment of the adult population might have been overlooked or misdiagnosed. These adults have faced a lifetime of challenges and experiences that were often misunderstood by their peers, educators, and even families. But what is autism spectrum disorder? Autism spectrum disorder, as the name suggests, is a spectrum, meaning it includes a range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. In shining a light on autism spectrum from the perspective of adults, it is not just about diagnosis. We're redefining understanding, fostering empathy, and cultivating an environment where every individual, regardless of their neurological makeup, can find their niche and thrive. When the credits roll on critically acclaimed films, such as The Silence of the Lambs or The Remains of the Day, one name prominently stands out: Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yet, beyond his cinematic genius, Hopkins' personal journey through life with autism offers a profound narrative of resilience, understanding, and accomplishment. Hopkins' story begins in Port Talbot, Wales, in 1937. In school, he faced challenges that seemed insurmountable at the time. Teachers often described him as a loner and disruptive, finding it difficult to fit into the traditional education mold. However, it was only decades later, at the age of 70, that Hopkins was formally diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a condition falling under the autism spectrum. Hopkins often mentions that he thinks differently, a characteristic he believes has made him a better actor. His meticulous attention to detail, a trait many with ASD possess, became evident in his preparation for roles. He has been known to read scripts upwards of 200 times, ensuring he's fully absorbed every emotional beat and line. This dedication, stemming from his neurodiversity, has undoubtedly contributed to the awards and accolades he's received. By 2021, he became the oldest Best Actor Oscar winner for his role in The Father.
Disclaimer. This video is intended for educational purposes only, and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Let's now continue our journey to better understand mental health.
Following the journeys of remarkable figures like Hopkins, the narrative surrounding autism has certainly evolved. But what does the scientific landscape reveal about ASD? As our knowledge advances, so do our methods and approaches to understanding autism, particularly in adults. 1. Autism in Adulthood. A groundbreaking 2019 study by the Lancet Psychiatry Journal offered startling insights into the lives of adults diagnosed with autism. Delving into the experiences of over 2,000 adults, The study illuminated that nearly 25% of adults with autism were socially isolated, indicating they rarely or never felt they had someone to talk to. 2. Transitioning to adulthood with autism. A longitudinal study by the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders in 2018 chronicled the challenges encountered by teenagers as they transitioned into adulthood. Highlighting the experience of 400 teenagers, this research underlined that by their early 20s, only 58% had ever worked for pay outside the home, and merely 36% had pursued post-secondary education. 3. Economic impacts. According to a 2015 study conducted by Autism Speaks, the societal cost of autism in the US ranged from $268 billion to $461 billion, depending on the prevalence of the condition. These figures incorporated factors like medical care, special education, and lost parental productivity. However, as enlightening as these studies have been, there's a noticeable gap in the current body of research. While children with autism have been the primary focus for decades, the experiences of adults, especially older adults with ASD, are sorely under-researched. Despite mounting evidence suggesting that challenges persist and even evolve with age, there's a dearth of comprehensive studies on aging with autism. As society becomes more inclusive, it becomes imperative that our research reflects the full spectrum of experiences and challenges faced by adults with autism across diverse walks of life. Now, what are the types of autism spectrum in adults? 1. Autistic disorder or Kana syndrome. Often referred to as classic autism. Those with autistic disorder usually have significant language delays, social and communication challenges, and unusual behaviors and interests. In adults, challenges with social skills and communication persist but may improve with appropriate interventions. 2. Asperger syndrome. Individuals with Asperger's may have challenges in understanding social interactions and might display restrictive interests. In adults, many lead independent lives but might struggle with social nuances, like understanding humor or reading body language. 3. Pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, or PDDNOS. Often referred to as atypical autism. Individuals diagnosed with PDDNOS might showcase some symptoms seen in autistic disorder or Asperger syndrome, but not all. In adult, symptoms might be milder or manifest in a different combination, and may include social challenges and unusual behaviors or interests. 4. Childhood disintegrative disorder or CDD, also known as Heller's syndrome, is a rare condition of ASD. Individuals with CDD display typical development for the first few years of life, and then experience a significant regression in multiple areas, such as language, motor skills, and social functions. In adults, this is extremely rare but devastating, often requiring intensive, lifelong care. 5. Rett syndrome. This almost exclusively affects females, with typical development for the first 6 to 18 months, followed by a period of regression. In adults, symptoms include seizures, motor skill impairments, and breathing irregularities. This condition is often more physically debilitating. Amid the varied intricacies of ASD, emerges a potent undercurrent of resilience, adaptability, and growth. This strength, while innate in many with ASD, can be further bolstered through tailored treatment modalities. These interventions are as follows. 1. Behavior therapy. Behavior therapy, especially applied behavior analysis or ABA, is one of the most extensively researched and applied treatment methods for those with ASD. 2. Medications. While no drug treats the core symptoms of autism, certain medications as to stimulant and non-stimulants can aid in managing co-occurring issues. 3. Therapeutic interventions. Structured therapy sessions, both individual and group-based, provide invaluable tools for adults with ASD. As we delve into the world of ASD in adults, we encounter a tapestry of unique experiences, challenges, and aspirations. Embracing the full spectrum of autism, from the nuances of diagnosis to the pursuit of effective treatments, necessitates a multi-pronged approach. For individuals with ASD, the recommendations are: 1. Continued learning. 2. Joining support groups. 3. Collaborative care as to maintain open communication with healthcare providers. While for families and caregivers, it is best to do active participation. Seek counseling to comprehend and support loved ones. And educate and advocate to dispel myths and foster understanding. The landscape of ASD in adults, while marked by challenges, is equally replete with opportunities for growth, connection, and understanding. As we step into the future, let's remember that while ASD is a part of the narrative, it isn't the entirety. It's an aspect of a multifaceted individual, each one with dreams, aspirations, and an unparalleled potential to leave an indelible mark on the world.